Jon Polar Bear Gonzalez, obviously one of our favorite guests here on Headliner Chicago. We've been talking to him since the very beginning of our journey, and of course of his journey here coming to Chicago. And he's coming back here for the 312 Comedy Festival, November 6th. John, always so great to see you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me on. Always good to be a part of it, dude. How you been?
I've been doing great. It's a time that we need to laugh, and it's a time that we need this more than ever. So thank you for coming to our city, and we're excited about this festival.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited about it too.
Tell me a little bit about that connection, because obviously you've come and played Zanies before over the past couple of years, but to become a part of this festival, tell me a little bit about that.
Man, I really owe it all to my agent, dude. David Cerna of Adelante Management, dude. He's been trying to get me on, and he had even said like I'm gonna try and get you on. Hey, they can't do it. Sorry. I was like, don't worry about it, dude. It's cool. It's gonna come when it's gonna come. And then somebody dropped out at the last minute, and then they called him and hit him up, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to get it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So here we are, man. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And what I've loved too is that obviously during the pandemic you had your moments online, and those moments translate. And then when I first started this podcast, you were the very one of the very first guests that first week that I got to chat with, and that was your first time in Chicago. And I've loved that every single year you've made that journey here, to our city. Talk a little bit about that connection, to Chicago, and not only yourself and your comedy, but what it means for the community here.
Oh man, it's been amazing, dude. Like it really has. Chicago's always been one of those cities that I've loved, you know. And it's weird because like one of the first cities to ever blow up like on my Facebook page was Chicago. Like you can look at the analytics and Chicago was always on top. And I'd always be like, who's following me? Like who knows me in Chicago? You know, like that's
Me?
that's crazy. Yeah. So it's been great, dude. Like it really has been awesome. It's been such a an amazing thing going out there once a year. I have a cousin who lives out there, of course, and I always try and like visit with him when I go out there. So this year, since I'm doing the festival and I'm doing a bunch of cities around it, I'll be staying with him for like over a week. So he'll probably be tired of me by the time I leave the house. But it's gonna be great, man. Just being in Chicago and being in the city for that long. It's the city, one of the like my favorite cities in the country. I really love it,
And,
dude.
and I see Chris Farley on your shirt. Did you visit Second City, or did you come here last time and kind of see the whole Chris Farley history here in our city?
Oh, dude, yes. That was my first time going there. I'm a huge Chris Farley fan. So it was there in the pandemic, so we weren't able to like actually like attend a show in Second City, but we got to go there. We went to the bar across the street where like all the people would go and have like beers and stuff. And it's just there's so much history in your town, dude, especially with comedians and Chris Farley being the reason I got into comedy. It was such an amazing moment for me to be there and like kind of like walk the halls that he did. It was awesome, dude.
Let's talk a little bit about your shows. Obviously, what has blown up online is you're half white, half Hispanic size of your family, and so many people from both sides, and all different types of families can relate to those videos. I mean, talk a little bit about those explosions online, and being able to share that content with people.
Man, it's been amazing, dude. And the people from both sides of the family, they love it. They get a kick out of it. You know, I think my Aunt Debbie gets the biggest kick out of it. She was actually in the hospital this last week, and she's doing better now. But she's been like going through some stuff, and it's funny because I was walking the halls, and one of the nurses was like, "Wait a minute, aren't you that guy who does like the skits, like the white?" I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And you're like, "Are you serious? Whoa, that's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Aunt Debbie is here. She's in room 222, so take extra good care of her." They're like, "What?" And so people kept popping their head in to see Aunt Debbie, and she felt like a little mini celebrity in the hospital, and she just loved it, dude. Even when she was leaving, she said a lot of people were like looking at her and like whispering and like looking at her and talking and like that's Aunt Debbie, you know. So it's awesome, bro. It's cool to see her of all people get to enjoy it, you know, because my tia, the one that I portray in the skit, she passed in 2022, so she wasn't able to like really enjoy, the stuff my Aunt Debbie is enjoying. So it's just cool to see somebody from the skits be alive and enjoy it. So it's cool.
Yeah, and I love that those moments that obviously you share online, but they get to come into like real life, that you really get to experience it. Like Aunt Debbie, yes, you are a celebrity. People love you, and people know you, and people want you to feel better, sending you well wishes.
Yes, exactly. It's awesome, man. Because I think everybody has that Aunt Debbie in their life, that sweet aunt that or Thea that just loves you and spoils you and takes care of you, and that was always her. So it's cool, dude.
your DMs, obviously, growing up, in my family, I relate to so much, but do you get a lot of suggestions of like, you got to do this, you got to show this, you got to say this word, you got to say this phrase? Like, are your DMs just flooded with that?
No, not as much as you would think. They used to be like during the pandemic. I had a lot of people reach out to me and tell me like, "Hey, man, do one with this, or do this, or say this, or that." And I would take some of their suggestions. When I started kind of like running out of my own stories of growing up half white, half Hispanic, I was like, "Oh man, like it's kind of get hard to kind of keep up with this," because I've already feel like I touched everything that I've been able to touch on growing up on my side.
Yeah.
So getting that feedback from people and being able to like implement them and put them into skits, it was just awesome, dude.
And obviously, that's part of what you do in your shows. But talk a little bit about what fans can expect. I saw a video on your social media, you with your shirt off and going out into the audience. So it can be wild. Anything could happen.
Yeah, and it gets wild, dude. So of course my shows I do have some of the half white, half Hispanic kind of like tucked in the middle there because that's what I'm known for. But I talk about life experiences, man. I talk about my dating life and how's that going. I talk about my insecurities, of course. And then at the end, I always do a stripper routine. And I've been on the road with Fluffy for like the last year or so, off and on, and he actually came to one of my shows and he saw that and he loved it. And he gave me the new stripper name. And now my stripper name is El Mazapan. So basically, I do a stripper routine and I do it all based for this dude right here, Chris Farley, because of the Chippendales skit. That's the
Yeah.
first one I ever watched. And I was a chubby little kid watching it. And I remember, man, my eyes kind of like lit up. I'm like, what is this? This is crazy. We can't do that. We're chubby. And it made like it kind of like switched that thing in my brain of like, okay, we gotta we gotta see what's here because I love this and this is awesome. What can I do with it? And so that's kind of like paying homage to the guy who got me into comedy. So it gets wild. If you come to the show, bring ones, fives, tens, 20s, bring some cash. And even if you have so this is the thing that I love about it the most. There'll be a group of guys at a table. There'll be four dudes. Somebody will bring out a 20 and be like, hey, here's 20, dance for him. And I'll go up on his friend and I'll dance on him, no matter if they want it or not. I'm still like that, at least doing this and going up on him, making it really weird and awkward. And one time in San Jose, one dude got pretty like pissed off. I was like pushing all of his friends, pushing them, and like he kind of like pushed me. And I was just laughed and walked away. And then later at the bar, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry about getting all mad and my friends were just messing with me." And I was like, "Nah, you're good, dude. It's all part of the fun." And he's like, "I'm not homophobic or anything." And I was like, "I didn't think that you were, bro." I was like, "It's just we're having fun, dude. It's cool. Like you don't have to apologize." So
Yeah.
it gets fun, man. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm sure when you get put on the spot, your reactions are probably different than you normally would be in regular life. But go there, go to the shows, go have fun, go relax for a minute. Bring your fives, your tens, your 20s, your Apple Pay,
Yeah.
your Venmo, whatever you got to bring.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll put my phone out so you can tap it.
Yeah. Restaurants, things you want to do while you're in Chicago. You're going to be here for a little bit of time. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I'll be there for a while. I always got to make a stop at Pequod's. That's my favorite deep dish spot. So definitely gonna go to Pequod's with my cousin and his wife. And I think since I'm in town for a while this time, of course, I want to check out the festival and do a different shows with that. But I think after that ends and like when I am in town, I want to try and like catch a show at Second City, because like I said, I didn't get to do that the first time. So it'd be really cool just to kind of go in there and experience that and see what's up with it, dude. So yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it.
It is awesome. Well, congratulations. Welcome back to Chicagoland. You're going to be at Zanies in Rosemont November 6th. Obviously, it's a whole festival. That's going to be Fortune Feimster, Pete Holmes, a whole lineup of amazing comedians. Go and check them out. Venues all across Chicagoland. Rosemont.zanies.com for those tickets. Jon, always great to see you, and we'll see you in Chicagoland very, very soon.
Hey, great to see you too. Thank you so much, Rudy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye.